and welcome back to the grind, and anybody new, welcome to the grind. This is 1976 BMW 2002. Now I've got the front end pretty well looked after, got the one door fixed to my satisfaction, and now I'm working on the rear part. So this part here is pending, but the other side used to look a bit like that, and now it's much more in tune. So I put a patch panel in here, and then after I do the welding, I put this gray stuff, which is metal reinforced body filler that is good for putting over the welds, and it's waterproof, and it makes it so that it covers in any pinholes that might be left over and all that kind of stuff. Then I also fixed up all this here, which is, what do you call that, where the spare wheel goes. That was like Swiss cheese, and there was a big hole in here, and so it's all back together and it looks pretty good. And so stick around, you can see everything I did. I just told you it all anyhow, but you see how I did it. So enjoy it all, and come on back for more. Like, subscribe, do whatever you like. Bye for now. Yeah, here I am, back to start another episode of this 2002. Now, I think that I'm going to tackle this right here. See if I can figure out what goes where and how it did its stuff. Let me get underneath here. Oh, up I come. This is what I did yesterday. That's all good and hard, and that's all like metal in behind there. I'll sand that off someday. Now, not really sure. I get a light down here. Hang on. Yeah, so I'm in. Where am I? In the trunk. Down here on the passenger side. And it looks like this is the lip. This is all good over here. Then this is the lip that the gas tank sits on, all the way over to here. So I think we're okay up here, but we got to make that fairly precisely. Maybe I'll put the car up a bit more and see, but it looks like it came over and joined onto the outside panel here. Not really sure, but perhaps I'll see if I can build that to make it fit onto the outside panel there. Then I'll take the outside panel away. But then, did this go? Ay. Hard to see. Then this thing here has got this will be a brace for it, so. Have to rebuild that. So, oops, don't ruin it. I'll put the car up a bit more and have a good look underneath there. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, so it looks like the floor used to come across here and have there's got a flange on the end of it there. It goes right along the outer edge of that body panel there. Okay, so, how can I make that? Should I, oh dear, chicken and the egg, right? So perhaps I have to do the outside panel first. Get that on and make that fit to the right spot. Then put this panel on. I think that would be the order to go in. So I will not do that yet. I'm gonna go over on this side and fix up the Swiss cheese. There's a bunch of fixing up in here to do that I can easily, like, nothing's easy, but I'll fix up this interior stuff here and then move on to that outside stuff, because I've got to fix that interior. Well, that's interior, outerior, that's not a word. Anyway, I'll fix this up, put new yeah. Don't know how yet, but I'll get that fixed up. Okay, so the car comes back down, and then this has to be fixed up too, because that goes right through there. And maybe I'll just cut that piece off of there, like underneath here. I don't know. Do you remember? There's a tow hook thing, right? And that's what we're looking at up above here, right there. So maybe I'll just cut the tow hook out of there, put a new piece of metal in, and then I'll plug weld the tow hook back onto it. That would be the right way to do it, I think. So I'll maybe lift the car up enough to cut that out from underneath. Okay, that's got to start on it. Oops, I'm checking out. Yeah, there's the tow hook off of it. That wasn't too tough. All I did was cut it right out of here. And see, I've got to cut this over here a bit more because of the, there's a rust spot there, but the rest is pretty good. I'll check it from above and see. I'll check it from above and see what else. But that worked out all right. And then that'll go back right on there. I'll just put some, like it was held on with plug welds. So I'll put it on with plug welds again. And it had a little bit of, right here at the edge, there was, right where the stress, pointing down, right where the stress was, there you can see a little bit of the bead. There was a bead along there. Anyway, now I'll bring the car back down and see what I got to get in there. Start cutting out some of these bits. Okay, this can go on last-ish. Yeah, I'll give it a bit of a thrashing with the needle scaler. Yeah, they're not as bad as what I thought. I thought all this would punch through, but it didn't. I might just cut that little bit out. And that little bit right there. But I've marked off these areas that I'll do each patch. Keep them manageable size, right? And then over here and over here. And this one, of course. That should make it, but I'll make it, maybe I'll mark that one because that didn't go through with the needle scaler, but it's getting ready. Won't hurt. And there's one right here by the edge of this, a little tiny hole there, so we'll look after that too. Okay, start cutting. Okay, first thing I'll make these ones here and put them in, then I'll tackle that stuff over there. So this has to be all cleaned up around. I'll get the cleaner and do that right now. Yeah, so I've got that piece fitted in, a little bit of a corner here that's not there because of all the piece. I found a piece that was just about the right size, but not quite. So I'll just weld it around, couple of blow-throughs here that I'll fix up after. Yeah, there, that's welded in. I'm not worried about warping or anything in this stuff because it's just it's underneath the spare tire, eh? But that should work all right. I'll make a little piece to put right in there. That's simple. And then I'll grind it off later. Now, there was blown through right here, and you just have to go tick, tick, tick to get it to fill in. And there was a blow through right here somewhere. This corner was bad because the went with the grinder too far both ways, and then it melts off the middle of it. So that happens. So, make a piece for there, make a piece for there and there. See how we can make out. Yeah, there. Is that recording? Yeah, it's recording. So that's in. I put in that extra little piece there. That's in. This one's in. I'll grind those ones up and then get on to the next one. Right. Here you go. Watch your ears. There, boom, new lips. That was mostly just to get the heads off them, right? Maybe I'll put in that tow hook again right about now, and that'll get it into the right spot. I'll figure out where I put some plug welds. Hang on. Yeah, so I took this, like that, made a paper model. It's upside down. This way it's got to be. So I'll have to poke those holes through. And then that paper model will sit right here, because that edge is right, and this edge is right, so that's where it goes. And now I'll just have to poke those holes through so I can see them. Yeah, so I've got that, those are where the holes are, and I'll just put an 1/8 inch guide hole through each one. Whoa, what happened there? Yeah, I got some of these little screws. So, whoops. I'll put a couple in a couple of guide holes and then right in here. That's a good one. Yeah, now that I've got that in there like that, let's check in, before I start welding, let's check and see if it's sort of halfway straight. Hang on, I'll get the other light. I'll get a light. Yeah, here we are. Oh boy, up and down, back and around. Oh yeah, that looks like it's supposed to be there. Is that? Is that the right direction? Yeah, I think so. That looks like it was pulled on right there straight before. So I think that's where it's going to be. I can move it around a bit, but no, that's where it's got to be because this has got to weld on up there too. Okay, I'm good. I'm happy with that. No, I'm not happy with that. That's not right. Hang on. There, that's better, eh? That's straight. So that's a good shot there. Okay, I'll weld it on and yeah, I think we're good. It might be a 1/4 inch, might be a 1/4 inch over this way, but it's a straight shot, so that's good. I'm happy. Yeah, here we are. I'll see if I can get that. I'll weld that one and that one. I'll pull those screws out and then see what I do next. Yeah, that'll hold it together. I noticed a couple of pinholes while I was underneath there. I fixed them. Anyhow, that's not going anywhere soon. A little bit of a smile there, a little bit of a smile there. I'll fix that, and I'll fix that, and I'll fix that right now. There we go. Now I'll do underneath, I'll lift the car up and do the underneath. It gets just a little bit of a bead on each side of it at the back. Yeah, so you get a bit of a bead right here, joining up that edge, and then on here, right there, joining up that edge. And it looks like there's pretty good penetration all the way along there for that thing, so I'll be happy with that. Okay, I'll just weld them up and then I'll show you what it's done, because I've got two hands holding camera and light, and that's not going to make it. Oh, a glob of weld on that one there. That one, I'll grind that back a bit. This one here is the way it should be, right like that. Anyway, that's let's see how they look, these things here. Yeah, they'll be fine. In fact, these guys here are really good. That one there could use a bit more welding right around here because it didn't get that great a penetration, but I don't think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fine. I don't think there's a problem with it. Anyway, there you go. That's another day done. So tomorrow I'll finish up this side over here perhaps. I won't have to deal with that thing there, which took a bit of time. Okay, see you later. Yeah, so here I am back again. I put some rust converter, which is like that can there, into the, like all these little rusty spots here. Then I'll put some of that metal to metal body filler on top of that, all those rust converted spots. You can see it's turned black, and so it's doing its thing. Now over on this side here, I'll cut that out and I'll start putting pieces in there. It's a good way to get rid of all these little pieces that I have here. Use them up in there somehow. Oh, okay, and that's... So, I won't show you much today. I'll just show you sort of the finished product, or, you know, I'll give you a bit of an update in between, but won't be too much filming today. It's just same as yesterday. You've seen it all. Yeah, well, there you are. That's what it used to be, right? Right there. Now, it's kind of a hodgepodge. Well, not a hodgepodge, but I had lots of scrap pieces, you know, like pieces like this big, like that. So I just gathered them all up and used them all up. I made this little bit of a divot in here to be the same as this divot over here. So that'll be good. And I don't know what's underneath there. Let me just grind that up and check into that, because there's one over here too. Don't know what it is. Anyway, but now I'll just finish welding this up all the way around, and that should be good. That'll be this thing here done for welding, except for one little bottom. I'm going to drill that out and weld that up. Okay. Yeah, there. That's welded up. These little, like you can see, these little things like that is where I went too far with the cutting tool. Same here. A little bit of a crease up there. Anyway, but I welded them all up, and I welded this hole up. Not very pretty, but I'll get that ground down. Anyway, it's grinding time now. Yeah, there, I went hunting for pinholes, and this thing here was that plug. It was an aluminum plug, so the welder just blew it away. So now I'm going to take some of that metal to metal stuff and just cover up all that welding stuff, and that'll fix up any pinholes that I missed. I'm pretty sure I got them all. I put a light underneath the other side and looked up through and everything like that. So anything though, if I missed any, it'll be covered. So that's pretty near it. I'll show you when I get the gray stuff on it, and that'll be it for today anyhow, because it's 4:30 already. By the time I get that stuff on it, it'll be 5 o'clock. Time to quit. Quitting time. Oh well, there you go. Here we go. Got this stuff. I made a big batch. Hopefully I'll get it all before I run out of time on it. Anyway. I gotta make another batch. Hang on, I'll be back. Yeah, here I am back again. Reaching in from behind. This will build it up so it doesn't rust in the future, I hope. Yeah, there, that'll harden up overnight, and that'll be good. So that's that part looked after. I guess next I'll look after that hole over there and that hole there. Then maybe I'll do this side here on the outside first, because it's not as complex as the other side is. I think I have to put the outside on first before I finish that off, but I'll make it, don't know what I'll do for sure. I think I'll get that top lip of the wheel well looked after, and then I'll once it's I'll have it on a flat, and then when it's on a flat, then I'll be able to, like, it's gonna be hard to make that sort of a rounded thing there. That was punched out, eh? But we'll figure it out. That'll be a challenge for tomorrow. So anyway, that's enough for today. Well, yeah, I might as well just like zip that off of there, and that'll make it easier to work on that in the inside there. What? Well, later. That'll be our plan for tomorrow. I'll think about it. This part here is done. It's actually coming along pretty good. Everything here. There's a little rust hole here, and a little tiny rust hole, oh, right there. Same place, right? Basically the same place. I don't know why. Why would it rust right there? No reason. No reason, except it must have a good reason. Anyway, see you tomorrow. There's Dave. Dave is here to, you hear the noise out of the heater up there? That's been for a couple of years. And so Dave is going to cure that today. Be a quiet heater again. Look this way, Dave. Look this way, Dave. There you go. Have a smile. Thank you very much. There. That noise is gone. And we cleaned it all out and blew it all out and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to work well now. Keep the place nice and warm. In the meantime, I ran this heater up here, but this heater isn't very efficient. It just chews up electricity pretty quickly. And then this thing showed up. So 3/4 inch NTP, National MPC, whatever it is, 3/4 inch pipe. Got to get that fitting and then start making some. I think I'll bring it down to a 1/2 inch and run it into copper pipe and put a couple of fittings on it somehow or other. I'll figure out something. Yeah, there it's running. It's in the break-in period now. It says to open up those valves down at the bottom here. Let the air go through for 20 minutes, and then to close that up and let it fill up the air. Yeah, they're all set. And so I've got, I should put, new lips. I'll get a bigger hose to put on here and make that connection a bit bigger coming out of there. Then maybe I'll just put a valve on there to stop it, right? That'd be a good idea. Anyway, I've got the pressure regulator here online, and then it goes into my regular hose that I use for everything, so that'll be fine. And then I ran the hose just over here to the middle of the shop and got it connected to the wall there so you can't pull it over all this stuff here. Then I'll find a way to, wrap it up and make it look good. That'll be a tomorrow thing. But anyhow, that's all for today anyhow, so then we'll get back to this tomorrow sometime. Hey, went and got a tank of gas today. It was empty, so that's a full one. And that's all there. Okay, see you later. Yeah, so here it's sitting at 150 pounds, or 100, whatever it shows there. Maybe I'll put a little mark on there to see what it, and then tomorrow I'll check and see if it's dropped off any, because I turned off the electricity to it. It gets pretty warm after running 20 minutes straight. Okay, here I am. Here I am back with the BMW. Got a new tank of welding gas. Excuse me. And a new air machine. So I left it last night unplugged, and it's dropped off a little bit. Like, this is where it was. So you can see now that it's dropped off a bit. So I'll spray soap everywhere and find out where it's leaking. I bet it's leaking right there. We'll find out. Yeah, that's 2 days later, and I'm ready to go back to work, I think. That's installed. The heat system is very quiet. Can't hear a thing. I took down all this old plastic stuff here because I'll put up new plastic next time I paint. And Then I tidy things up here and here. Here's the air hose. I've got it just hanging on the wall there, which is a good spot. This is an old piano bolt. First time I've been able to use an old piano bolt. And that's a little thing that I made on the 3D printer for the front bumper. So that'll keep it from chafing. Chafing? Chaffing. I wonder what the word is, eh? Anyway, so I'll get back to work on here. I think I'm going to take one of these, yeah, this one, over to the other side and see about getting it where it fits. And maybe I'll put a couple of Kinkos in it, but then I'll, once I get it figured out here, whoops, I'm not pointing. Once I get it figured out, whoa, way back here. Once I get it figured out, then I'll put a couple of Kinkos in it so it'll sit right, take off those couple of things. But I won't cut anything until such time as I'm happy with the fit. Okay, anyway, there we are. Yeah, so that whole patch panel will fit on like about that high. I think that's the right depth. Maybe I'll check the other side and just see if there's anything that gives me a clue. Yeah, there is a clue. I'll measure from here down to here and see what that measurement is. Yeah, now what I'm going to do is cut away some of this rust. I've measured down from here to there, it's 29 centimeters. From here, 31.6 centimeters down to that hole. These holes here, I made this template, which I'll pull off of there now. This hole here is 35.5 from a mark I made up here, right there. And then from that mark right there down to the bottom edge is 49 centimeters. So what I'll do is I'll cut some of this rusty stuff away. Likely I'll cut it to here and then down to about here and across. Not really sure what I'll do because this is good. Nothing wrong with that in there, and I don't want to cut away what I don't have to cut away. I think, well, that needs to be prepared in there, but I'll do that is after I get this cut off so I can see what's going on. Anyway, so I'll peel off this template stuff and I'll stick it somewhere safe, and later when I put on that thing there, I'll be able to know where the holes go. But I'll likely cut it about just above this hole here, because that's where the rust line is. So I'll cut across here and then down and then through here, so I don't have to. This I'll leave original, cut it to about there somewhere. See what I have to cut out of there. For starters, I'll just cut along that line and along that line down and along the bottom of that. I'll leave all this, including all the holes, intact except for that hole and that hole. And that way I'll be able to evaluate what needs to be done. I might have to cut it a bit higher just because a little bit of rust goes up there, but we'll just see. Take away as little as possible to start with. Yeah, here we go. That's about the right height. I'll just check this height here. There the bottom is. It's got to go up 1 centimeter because, well, this stuff here is holding it tight. So this end here has to go up 1 centimeter. This end here, this part here is right, that's the right correct height. And it seems to fit along everything on the bottom there. So that's not bad. We'll just, I'll let the car down. I'll put a mark on the inside where I've got it cut to, and then see what happens from there. Okay. Yeah, there, I've cleaned it all off, and I'll just go up here another ½ inch and get up past that rust here. And then I'll just cut this out to here and cut that little bit out of there. So that's It was all right, except it's just full of that yucky stuff in there too. See if I can get that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that piece of metal. Roundabout like that somewhere. Yeah, so I think I'm safe to cut along that black line there all the way, and then I can either do a cut and butt or else do more fitting on it to make it fit nice. Anyhow, but I'll cut that out, and that'll get rid of a lot of excess metal that I don't need around there. Yeah, there. Now I cut off that much. And now I'm back at the back here. I got my welding gloves on, and I got the brass machine going, or the brazing machine going. So I'm going to do like a cut and butt along here to make it fit in right. And then once it's fit in right, then I'll just leave a few tack points along it once it's fit, and then I'll make the underneath, like get the underneath stuff to fit in there. The floor and everything to fit in to the right spots. Then I'll put this on for permanent. So I'll just cut and butt it in as if I was welding it in. Then I'll be able to just cut those tacks and take it out of there later, as soon as I decide how much floor goes in there. But I'll do the fitting for that from the inside. Yeah, that's on. And looks like it'll be alright. It's got to be pushed in a little bit at the bottom here, like that. And it's still like that piece of metal there from back. Can you see that? Yeah, it's right there. All the way up to the front there. But it's still hanging on over here. So that I'll have to get off when I take this whole panel. I'll take this panel off of here again. And then finish the floor work, get the right dimensions for the floor work based on this panel, and then go from there. Okay. Anyway, it's an adventure. That's enough for today. Didn't even get to use my new welder, my new thing here, whatever you call that, pump, compressor. Didn't even get to use it yet after all that. Anyway, but I'll go and I'll see you tomorrow sometime. Yeah, so back at it here. Now this, I drilled a little hole there and drilled a little hole there and put a piece of metal bracing across there just to hold it where I think it should be, like that. I don't know if you can see that, but that's all pretty good there for curve goes. This thing here, it'll take it's going to be close, hey? Anyway. So what I'm going to do now is let it down, and then this back part here, that'll take a bit of this, because I got to cut it here. It's not quite right for that. Don't know why, but that's how it is. It's just likely it's. Oh, I know why. It's made for a bumper delete, like to have the European style bumpers. Okay. In fact, yeah, came from Europe, so it likely has made for European style bumpers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it down and work on the inside lip of all this stuff here and get the measurements right, and then I'm going to cut this off, put it all together, put this back on, and see if I can get it back right again. Yeah, there. I don't know. Can you see that? I fashioned two little tabs in there that I've got held in by a Kinko each. Can't get in there to drill anywhere, right? Anyhow, so I'm going to take off the outside now, and that'll give me the extent of that I have to build that thing out, and from there I can now I can, like, I have somewhere to build to anyhow, so I'll figure that out. Yeah, so I've got these two things Kinko'd on here, and so I'll make a piece. I'm just going to make a piece that goes from here to here with a lip on it, and that'll make that solid right across there. And then I'll start building off of that, and then the Kinko holes will be where it has to sit, right? So I think I can do that. So plan A. I'm going to make a piece. I'm making a piece that fits around that, so it's still got to be stretched out a bit. And that'll fix up right down to that hole there. And hopefully everything else is okay underneath that. We'll see. If not, I'll just put a little patch in somewhere. But this is about as big as you want to make a piece to stretch, because otherwise it'll just, well, it gets all screwy. I'll just show you. Hang on. See if I can get you up here. There we go. So now, all you do is stick it in the stretcher and give it a stretch. Then you don't want to do, well, if you do too much, then you just put it in the shrinker and shrink it back. Anyway, I'll come back. Now, I got it stretched out right and had to go back and shrink it a bit. It fits in there pretty nice now. Yeah, I've got it. It's pretty good. So, now the bend is about right and the curve is about right. So what I'm going to do is I don't want to take that, like I got a Kinko hole right there. I don't want to take that out. So I'm going to just cut this straight in here, and that'll be the limit that goes, and I'll put another little piece in here later. Well, I might not have to, because well, we'll see. And then I'll cut this off at the right place here, cut that off at the right place right there, put them in, and see if we can start fitting it. There, I've got it mostly fitted in. I've got a little tack here and a little tack there, and I've got to cut across the bottom here, just like a button, cutting butt along the bottom and just along the edge there. Then I'll finish fitting it in. Yeah, that's welded in. I didn't even get any blowouts. Must be getting good at it. Maybe I'm just lucky, eh? So I'll grind this off and see what it looks like after that. Yeah, I guess that passes inspection. That'll be all right for on the wheel well, on the spare tire holder. Now I'll see if I can get my piece to fit back in here again, and that'll give me the right amount out to the this out here. Then I got to figure out where I got to put plug holes in it. Oh well. Oh, can you see anything here? So then that sits on top of there, so I'll have to go and either cut this one off. Whoops, sorry. Either cut this one off or cut this on a little bit of a curve on it. I'll put it up and see what I can come up with, because I really want to get rid of all this other stuff here too, eh? Pretty close to being a reasonable product. Okay, I'll keep working at it. Yeah, so I decided, I marked it on the back with a marker, and then I carefully cut it along that line, and now I've done some more fitting to it, and it fits on there pretty nicely. Now I think it's going to be close enough for the outside edge of it, and then I'll build on these other pieces, like a piece up there and a piece down here. This one here has to go sort of in, that's right to the edge of I think it's right to the edge of the where the panel takes a bend. So I'll see what I can come up with for that and just patch that in later. But for now, I think I'll go ahead and put this piece in and make it solid, and then I can build off of that for the rest of it. Yeah, there, that's on. I'll weld that tomorrow, but I think I'll just leave it tacked for a while and see about filling these other bits in case I want to take that off again. So that's actually coming along all right. This is good. There's a couple of pinholes in there that I found that I'll fix up, but otherwise we're pretty good shape. Anyway, time to go. See you tomorrow. Yeah, here now. Been a few days, and I finally got this thing so that it's not losing air. So where it was losing air was right at this connection right there, and so that's solved. Okay, back with the 1976-2002. See if I can get some more progress on the rear wing there. Yeah, so here's a bit of low-hanging fruit. This is the last of the sort of, what do you call that, a shock tower or suspension tower to get put back together. Now this piece here, I'll put a piece in down here, then I'll make a piece that'll go out and make that hooky thing here. I think that I'll have to put in the, how will I do that? Likely if I put the fender on, I'll be able to figure out where it goes. Then I'll fill in this stuff, then fill in that stuff, and then finish welding that. Oh, I fixed those pinholes that I found there. Anyway, carry on. Yeah, so I made a piece to fit in here, like that. And it'll maybe catch the inner fender a bit. We'll just see. I have to put it on for a test fit and see, and if I have to take it off again I will. But what I've done is just tacked it in a couple of places and then put the outer fender on. I'll show you as I get along here. Yeah, that's looking pretty close to being the right way there. I'm just holding this on here. Now I'll weld that in, because I think I can maneuver it, and I'll make a little piece here to fit in the rest of it. Then I'll make this piece to go across. It'll just go right across to the floor here, and we think that's about the same distance out. Wait a minute till I check this. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty flat along there, eh? Okay, so that's coming along all right. If I have to do a little bit of molding on this, I can do that with it in there. We'll just see. Okay. Yeah, there's that sort of fitted on here. Take a little bit. Oh, it's not bad right there. I'll have to just put a bit of a patch right in through there somehow to make that all come together. This took some pounding on it to make it come around, because it was holding it that way just a bit. So this wasn't meeting up right here. But now it's all come together pretty nice. And I've got a Kinko in here. Had a Kinko in there, but the hole is just a bit to the side of it now because I moved it. And this seems to be pretty good. There's a little bit of a gap here, and that was my mistake. So I'll see if I can fix that on the way through. And now I'm going to go to the inside and see if I can get the floor panel to figure out how to make the floor panel just come out and meet the edge here. I'll make it so to get a couple or three, what do you call it, plug holes along here, and then the rest will be just living there, I think. So I'll bring it down and see what I have to do in the inside. Yeah, so it's actually pretty good. This, I'm going to have to make a relief cut along here and just push that in. Like, it'll only take a little tiny bit to push that in. So this part here will sit flat. But otherwise, it's all sitting pretty good right up to, like, right up to way in there that you can't see. And anything beyond there, I'll just fill it up with seam sealer. Seam sealer? Yeah, that stuff. Because that's what they did at the factory too. Anyway, not bad for a little repair on here. So I'll do that. I'll make that cut here and just cut a relief and then push that in. It only takes like a width of a metal, eh? So it'll just be a little tiny, just one single cut and then pushed in, and that'll make it fit a bit better. I'll try that and see what happens. Maybe I'll cut big enough a thing and then fit the panel and let that panel push it in. How's that? That'd be a good idea. Yeah, so I figured while I'm down here I might as well just clean this up too. A little bit of rust right here. So, and you can see all that goopy goop stuff they put in there. So I'll just clean that out, redo this lip here over to here somewhere, and then go from there. Yeah, there, I just put that same piece of metal I took out of here on it, and I put a new piece with a lip on here. That's still original over here, and I sort of cleaned up and around here a bit. Now, I think pretty near ready to try fitting the, ooh, that's hot. I did some work in there too. Try fitting the thing on it, the fender on it, or the, what do you call this, the patch panel. Try fitting that on, but that's a tomorrow thing because it's quitting time today. So I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, here I am back at it. Now I'm gonna call that a pretty good fit. So I'm gonna make a plug hole here, here, and here. Those are the only 3 plug holes that are gonna be on this, on the back, on the outside. Then the rest of it will just be like it's a nice fit in there. I don't know, you can't really see underneath here, can you? Okay, well, up in there where the it fits along there. So I'll fill that with like the seam sealer, and then along here still have to do a little bit of cutting right there, and then I have to make this like it should be cut about here and across to make it so that it fits the North American style thing. But I'll do that later. I'm not gonna, because that's still got some wiggle to it there. So what I'll do is I'll get it welded in along this seam here, and I'll make the plug holes for it. Like you can see in there, it comes up against the can't really see very well, but it comes up against this side of it. You can't see what I'm pointing at because my hand's out here. Whoa, can't see anything. Anyway, I'll do my best to get it up there tight. And you see that where the light's coming in underneath there, that means that it's not just touching on the edge of it. So maybe I can pull that, I can pull the bottom of that thing out a bit so that it touches the edge of that, and then that'll make it a good seal. Okay, that's what I'll do. Yeah, now I think I'm ready to start putting this in. I've made 4 plug holes here to hold this in against that side there, and that should work well. Otherwise I'll just use seam sealer down here, and everything else is welded together. I think, yep, we're all set to go. Put this on and see how things work out. And I'll fix this up a little bit as we go along. That's mostly going to be all right. Trying to make it tight as fit as possible up to here. That seems to be pretty good. Has to be pulled out a bit there. Anyway, I'll see what I can do about getting it on there. Yeah, there's the first run across, and I think it's working okay. I'll let that cool off. A little bit of a, like there's always going to be a dip no matter what you do. And I can feel it already, a little bit of a dip in there. But that's okay. I can well, actually I can reach some of it from the inside and pound it back out, and this stuff is pretty soft. It's not like MIG steel. Then these things here, they'll be able to get up in there. I won't do them until I finish this, and then we'll start worrying about this stuff over here. I'll go around, weld it up to here where it's good, and then start fitting this stuff afterwards. Okay. Yeah, there. I'll give it another go. One thing about welding with this brass stuff, you have to make sure you keep your tip clean, and sometimes it'll stop and you just have to take the tip out and clean it out with a little, clean the hole out so that it'll run easy. That hurt. Oh, I'll clean that off with a wire brush and let it cool down so you can touch it. It'll be a little while. Yeah, that's all brazed up. Works not bad, and it's got a little dip right here, but mostly it's pretty flat. Little dip all the way along, but not a big dip. That nothing that I can't live with. Okay, now these ones down here, the plug holes, I'm going to do that with the MIG welder on steel, just because they're structure, right? Yeah, definitely some shrinkage here by the plug welds, but that's good and solid now. Anyway, and they're easy to level out once I get them ground off. So now it's time to do some grinding on this and see how it looks when I'm done. Yeah, here we go. Whoops, need my glasses. Yeah, that turned out all right. There's a cut from the a cut from the whatever you call that, the grinder right here. An accidental cut that I was trying to grind it out, but it goes right through, so I'll have to just put a tab of weld on that. A little bit of a pinhole there, pinhole there, pinhole there, pinhole there. Otherwise, it came out pretty nice. Now, you can feel a bit of a dip right from here to here. But I don't know that I'll be able, I can't get behind the structure to pound on that, so that's the way it's going to have to be. But I'm not too concerned about it. I think it's okay. And down here, these things are dippy because that's just the way they are. Dippy is a good word for them, right? Okay, I'm happy with that result. And how does it look? Looks pretty all right, doesn't it? I think I'm very happy with that result. Okay, that's good going. Well, can't really tell in there what's going on. Can't reach my light. I'll show you the inside after a bit. Yeah, so I cleaned off the metal here. I'm going to be ready to put some of that metal to metal stuff over the welds, and that'll finish that off pretty good. Then, but over here, before I do that, I want to sort out this business here, because I think I have to cut it right there and right there, just below that, just below there's a little bit of hump there. So I'll just cut that off right there and right there, and then finish welding this along here. Then I'll be finished with this panel for now. This part here, I'll join onto that later somehow or other. Yeah, there, that's welded up all the way along there, and this crease is, I guess it's all right. Nice thing now that I've got that new, what do you call that thing, that air compressor, it'll run all these tools I have. Like I've got a nice little grinding disc there, run on air. I got a nice little cutting disc there that'll run on air. This thing, hey? So everything that runs on air really works well now. Now I have to just sand this off with like 40 grit. Then I'll put the metal to metal stuff on there. And I'll clean up in here and do a little bit of metal to metal work in there too. Looks like I've got a pinhole over there. Maybe I should fix that, eh? I'll do that before anything else. What's it look like inside here, hey? There's the patch along the, what do you call this? The wheel, what holds the wheel on? And then the outer wall is on. You can't really see it behind that thing there. Maybe down there. Can you see that? Yeah. And there's the patch here that I have to just fix a pinhole in. And everything else seems to be, I think we're pretty near done in here for this part. There's a dent right here that I'll pound out. But I gotta get I'll get my vacuum cleaner out and I'll clean up all this. This thing here is a bracket for the jack stand. So I'll see if I can fix that up and get it back down to this proper position. But I'm not too fussed about that. Anyhow, looks pretty good. I'm happy. Yeah, there's outside of this panel done. You can still see that little bit of a dip, but I'll fill that in with Bondo afterwards. That'll get, when I'm doing the body work, when I'm fixing all the little dents and things in the car. Not too many really. There's a couple at the back here, like there's one, that's not a dent, that's a rust hole, that's a rust. There's a dent right there, another dent somewhere I saw. I'll find them. I always miss one or two of them because they're just sometimes not so easy to find. Anyway, I'll let it down, I'll clean up the stuff in there and cover it up. Yeah, so I think I've got this thing here pretty near dialed in to the right amount. So it's 9.7 meters per minute on the spool feed, or on the feed, 17 volts, and I've got this this adjustment here makes it so you don't get as much splatter. I've got it turned over to number 9. You know, it seems to work. So that seems to be a pretty good adjustment. Everything. I might fine tune it again a little bit in the future, but now for today, got that all. That panel's in. Looks like a panel. A little bit of a dip right there, but that's easy to fix with a bit of Bondo, a bit of bodywork product. And I've got all the welds covered over in here. Now one of these days I'll have to get mucky and get my hand up in there and see if I can get the seam sealer in there somehow. I also put this, I welded this back on. It's the piece that holds for holding the jack in place. Like, I don't have a jack, but that's what used to hold the jack in place. This would go down and rest on there. And anyhow, but that's there. So I covered these seams up here with the metal to metal stuff, and I covered that seam, and I covered them also on the outside. So that side is done. That's good. So I think I'll, end this one here, and next week I'll get after that side here and see if I can get that fixed up. And maybe it won't take a whole week and I'll move on to something else. There's lots more to do. Anyway, that's pretty good. This thing here I should do here one of these days too. Forgot about that. Anyway, but now things went pretty well, and that's no more holes in the car there. That's great. It's all put back together. So, hope you enjoyed it all, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Yeah, so what is it? It's February 15th or something like that. The day after Valentine's Day. And pretty cold and windy still. Yeah, the pond is looking like a frozen wasteland. Everything here is looking like a frozen wasteland. Had a pretty big storm came through with a bunch of snow and then a bunch of like freezing rain, so everything's crusty underfoot. Yeah, and the ice out on the Northumberland Strait today is just moving really fast. Maybe I'll get a clip of that from the bridge cam and put it on the end here. And my iceberg hasn't moved, it's ground fast. Okay. And Doggy is absolutely normal. Yeah, so here's the ice moving on the Northumberland Strait. This is captured from the Confederation Bridge camera. That's how we get back and forth to PEI. There you go. Lots of ice flowing.